My name is Adelaide, though most people call me Addie. I've always been the kind of person who prefers to stay in the background, quiet, observant, and meticulous. You won't find me shouting across a boardroom or throwing my weight around at networking events. But don't mistake my quiet demeanor for weakness. Beneath this calm surface lies a mind that thrives on strategy, detail, and precision. And today, as I sit here in this office chair with my hands folded neatly on the desk, I can feel every ounce of patience and restraint I've cultivated over the years bubbling just beneath the surface. You're probably wondering why I'm sitting alone in an empty office late at night, staring out into the dimly lit hallway like some sort of predator waiting for its prey. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't supposed to be this way. Not long ago, I was one of them, a trusted member of the inner circle, a key player in what many considered one of the most innovative companies of our time, Lamora Tech. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine, or so I thought. Lamora Tech isn't just any company. We revolutionized sustainable energy solutions, clean power grids, solar advancements, even breakthroughs in battery storage technology. The world looked to us as pioneers, and we had the accolades to prove it. Our CEO, Margot Vale, became something of a celebrity in corporate circles. She was charismatic, ambitious, and ruthless, but she knew how to sell a vision. People worshipped her. They still do. For years, I worked tirelessly behind the scenes, pouring everything I had into making Lamora a success. I didn't need the spotlight. I was content knowing that my contributions mattered. My role? Head of operations. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? In reality, it meant I handled everything from logistics to crisis management while Margot took all the credit. At first, I didn't mind. After all, someone had to keep the ship sailing smoothly while she dazzled investors and gave interviews. But then things changed. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, until one day I realized I wasn't just being overlooked, I was being erased. It started small, almost innocuously. Meetings where my ideas were dismissed, only to reappear weeks later under Margot's name. Emails accidentally left unread, critical updates ignored because they came from me instead of her. Then came the promotions, or rather, the lack thereof. New executives were brought in, younger faces eager to please Margot, each more willing than the last to step over whoever stood in their way, including me. Still, I held on. I told myself it would get better, that hard work would eventually pay off. How naive I was. The breaking point came 6 months ago when Margot called me into her office. Her corner suite was as ostentatious as ever, floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the city skyline, sleek furniture that screamed luxury, and a massive mahogany desk that seemed designed to intimidate anyone who dared approach it. Margot sat there, legs crossed, sipping tea from a delicate porcelain cup like some kind of queen holding court. "Adelaide," she began, her voice smooth and measured, "I wanted to talk to you about your future here at Lamora." Even now, I remember the chill that ran down my spine when she said those words. There was something in her tone, a calculated detachment, that made my stomach twist. She went on to explain that the board felt I was no longer a good fit for the company's direction, that my skills, while valuable, were better suited elsewhere. Translation, get out. But that wasn't the worst part. No, the real blow came when she handed me a severance package, so insultingly low it might as well have been charity. As if losing my job wasn't enough. She expected me to walk away quietly, grateful for whatever scraps she deigned to throw my way. And then she dropped the bombshell. A deal worth $6 billion. A merger with another tech giant was imminent, and once finalized, it would cement Lamora's status as an industry titan. Only problem? I'd played a pivotal role in developing the very technologies that made the deal possible. Technologies she planned to take full credit for. I left that meeting feeling hollow, betrayed, and utterly furious. For days I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. All I could think about was how Margot had used me, exploited my loyalty, and discarded me without a second thought. Worse still, she thought I'd simply disappear, fade into obscurity like so many others before me. But she underestimated me. Oh, how she underestimated me. What Margot failed to realize was that, during my time at Lamora, I hadn't just been managing operations. I'd been watching, learning, observing every move she made, every lie she spun, every string she pulled to maintain control. I knew her weaknesses, her blind spots, her secrets. Secrets that could destroy her if exposed. And now, armed with nothing but determination and a meticulously crafted plan, I was ready to strike back, Which brings us to tonight. This isn't just any ordinary evening. It's the night Margot returns to the office after weeks of traveling abroad to finalize the merger. Unbeknownst to her, I've spent the past few months orchestrating my revenge. Every email, every document, every conversation has been carefully curated to lead her right where I want her. To this moment. To this room. As I glance at the clock on the wall, I see it's nearly midnight. The building is eerily silent, save for the hum of fluorescent lights overhead and the occasional creak of settling floors. Somewhere in the distance, an elevator dings softly, signaling her arrival. My heart quickens, but I force myself to remain calm. Patience is key. Revenge is a dish best served cold, after all. And so I wait. The sound of heels clicking against marble grows louder, echoing through the deserted hallway. Each step feels like a countdown, ticking closer to the moment I've been waiting for. My fingers tighten slightly on the edge of the desk, but my face remains placid, almost serene. Years of practice have taught me how to mask my emotions, even in moments like this. Margot always underestimated that, about me, how stillness could be a weapon. When she finally appears in the doorway, her silhouette framed by the faint glow of emergency exit lights, I don't say a word. I let her take me in first, sitting behind her desk in her chair as if I own the place. Her expression flickers briefly with surprise before smoothing into something colder, more calculating. That's Margot, always quick to regain control. She steps inside, closing the door softly behind her. The click of the lock reverberates through the room like a gunshot. Adelaide, she says, her voice dripping with full warmth. I must admit, I didn't expect to see you here. Her tone is casual, almost amused, but there's an undercurrent of irritation beneath it. Good. Let her stew. I imagine not, I reply, leaning back slightly in the chair. My voice is calm, measured, every bit as polished as hers. But then again, you never did give me much credit for thinking ahead. Margot tilts her head, studying me with those piercing eyes of hers. They're sharp, predatory, and yet somehow hollow. For all her charisma, there's a vacancy in her gaze, as though she sees people only as pieces on a chessboard. Perhaps that's why she never saw me coming. Well, this is certainly unexpected, she says, crossing the room to perch on the edge of a nearby conference table. She doesn't sit. It's too vulnerable a position for someone like her. Instead, she folds her arms across her chest, exuding an air of nonchalance that doesn't quite reach her eyes. Care to explain what you're doing here? Or should I call security? I smile faintly at that. Security? Of course. She'd go straight for the threat. But she knows as well as I do that no one else is here tonight. Just us. No need for theatrics, Margot, I say lightly. We both know there's no one around to hear your calls. Besides, I doubt you'd want anyone interrupting our little reunion. Her lips press together ever so slightly, betraying the first hint of unease. Interesting. Maybe she's starting to realize this isn't just some petty act of defiance. Still, she recovers quickly, forcing a laugh that rings hollow in the cavernous space. A reunion? Is that what we're calling this? Because from where I'm standing, it looks more like trespassing. Call it whatever you like, I say, letting my voice drop just enough to make her lean forward imperceptibly. But I think you'll find I'm not here to play games. For a moment, neither of us speaks. The tension between us thickens, palpable and electric. It's strange, really, how two people who once worked so closely together can become such strangers. Once I admired her, or at least I convinced myself I did. Now, looking at her, all I feel is disdain and resolve. Finally, she exhales sharply, shaking her head as though trying to dismiss me entirely. Look, Adelaide, I don't have time for this. Whatever vendetta you've cooked up in that clever little head of yours, let's just get it over with. You want an apology? Fine. You were good at your job. Happy now. An apology, as if words could undo everything she's done, as if she truly believes that would be enough. I almost laugh at the absurdity of it. Oh, Margot, I murmur, shaking my head slowly. You really don't understand, do you? This isn't about apologies, or even revenge. Not exactly. This is about balance. About making sure people like you don't get to win without consequences. Her brow furrows slightly, and for the first time, I see genuine curiosity flicker in her eyes. People like me, she echoes, her tone tinged with amusement. And what kind of person is that exactly? The kind who takes and takes and takes, I say, my voice steady despite the storm brewing inside me. Who builds empires on the backs of others and never looks back. Who pretends to care about innovation and progress while stomping out anyone who dares stand in their way. You didn't just push me aside, Margot. You erased me. Like I was nothing. Like none of it mattered. She shifts uncomfortably, though she tries to hide it. That's business, Adelaide. You knew the risks when you signed on. Don't tell me you're naive enough to think loyalty counts for anything these days. Loyalty. I repeat, my voice sharpening slightly. No, you're right. Loyalty doesn't mean much to people like you. But competence does. Vision does. And let's not forget, the technologies driving this $6 billion merger? Technologies I helped create. Technologies you're about to claim as your own. Margot stiffens visibly at that, her composure cracking just a fraction. Bingo. You're mistaken, she says quickly, her tone clipped. Those innovations belong to Lamora. To the team. Not to you. To the team. I echo, letting a bitter laugh escape my lips. Oh, please. We both know how this works. When the board asks who spearheaded the breakthroughs, they won't hear my name. They'll hear yours. Again. She doesn't deny it. Can't really. Instead, she studies me carefully, her mind racing as she tries to figure out where I'm going with this. Smart woman, but not smart enough. So what's your plan then? She asks after a pause, her voice laced with thinly veiled impatience. Blackmail? Sabotage? What do you want, Adelaide? What do I want? The question hangs in the air between us, heavy with unspoken truths. For months, I've asked myself the same thing. At first, it was simple. Justice. Retribution. A chance to expose her for the fraud she is. But somewhere along the way, it became something more. Something bigger than either of us. What I want, I say slowly, rising from the chair and stepping around the desk, is for you to understand what it feels like to lose everything. Everything you've built. Everything you've stolen. Everything you thought was untouchable. Her jaw tightens, and I can see the wheels turning in her head. She's searching for weaknesses, loopholes, anything she can exploit to turn the tables. But I've planned for every contingency. Every move she makes, I've already anticipated. And how exactly do you plan to accomplish that? She asks, her voice icy now. Because unless you've got something concrete, this is just empty threats. Empty threats. If only she knew. I reach into the pocket of my blazer and pull out a small USB drive, holding it up between two fingers like a magician revealing a card trick. Her eyes dart to it immediately, narrowing as she processes its significance. This, I say, tapping the drive lightly against my palm, contains every email, memo, and document detailing your involvement in sidelining me and countless others. It also includes evidence of financial discrepancies tied directly to the merger. Things the board might find troubling. Her face pales slightly, though she masks it well. You're bluffing. Am I? I counter, taking a step closer. Why don't we test that theory? Shall we send a copy to the board? Or maybe the press? I hear, Scandal sells papers. Her hands clench into fists at her sides, and for the briefest moment, I see a crack in her armor. Vulnerability. Fear. It's intoxicating. You wouldn't dare! She hisses, her voice low and dangerous. You'd destroy the company. All the work we've done. All the work I've done, I correct sharply. Don't pretend for a second that Lamora is anything more than a reflection of me, of us. Without those technologies, without the foundation I helped build, you're nothing. She glares at me, hatred simmering in her eyes. You think this changes anything? Even if you expose me, you'll never recover what you've lost. Your reputation, your career. You threw it all away for this. No, I say quietly, meeting her gaze head-on. I threw it away for something better. For the truth. For accountability. For a chance to show people like you that power isn't absolute, that actions have consequences. For a long moment, neither of us moves. The weight of the moment settles heavily between us, charged with possibility. Then, slowly, Margot exhales, a resigned, defeated sound. What do you want from me? She asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Ah, there it is. The opening I've been waiting for. That depends, I say, slipping the USB drive back into my pocket, on whether you're willing to listen. Margot stares at me, her usual confidence shattered. For the first time, she looks unsure, almost human. I take a step closer, my voice softening but firm. I don't want to destroy Lamora, I tell her. It's too important. Too many people depend on it. But I do want accountability. You'll step down as CEO and issue a public statement acknowledging your mistakes. The board will appoint an interim leader while we restructure leadership fairly. She opens her mouth to protest, but I cut her off. This isn't negotiable, Margot. If you refuse, the evidence goes public. Your choice. After a long pause, she nods stiffly, defeated but pragmatic. Fine. You win. Weeks later, the company is in turmoil, but not for long. With Margot gone, the board takes swift action to rebuild trust. My name is cleared, and I'm offered a senior advisory role to help steer Lamora toward a brighter future. It's not about revenge anymore, it's about redemption. Standing in the same office where this all began, I look out at the city skyline and smile. Justice has been served, and Lamora will thrive, not because of one person, but because of everyone who believes in its mission. And for the first time in years, I feel peace. Margot steps down, her resignation making headlines. The board promotes ethical leaders, including me, to rebuild trust. I return to Lamora not as head of operations, but as chief innovation officer, a role that values my vision. Together, we steer the company toward transparency and inclusivity. Margot fades into obscurity, her empire dismantled by her own greed. My work gains recognition, inspiring others in the industry. For the first time, I feel truly seen and valued. Lamora thrives, proving innovation belongs to everyone, not just one person. As I stand in the office, once tainted by betrayal, I breathe freely, knowing justice prevailed. Peace fills me, and for the first time in years, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be.